When someone passes on in our lives, it's kind of hard to decide what we're going to do with their stuff. Although we miss them, we don't really know how to behave when it comes to splitting their stuff. So today we are going to be covering some Reddit stories talking about family members that just can't seem to get it together after their loved one passed on. Some of these people do not involve anyone that passes on because we're going to be talking about people discussing their inheritance before they ever even get their inheritance. And I'm going to just tell y'all right now, these stories are crazy. My mouth was dropping the entire time. I think I'm going to be just as shocked as I was last night reading these when you guys hear them. We got Kimmy in the back with us today. So we are going to have polls up so that you can vote if you are watching live. Let us know whether you think that the person writing the story is the a-hole, or if the person in the story, or if everyone sucks. Just let us know your thoughts by voting in the poll. And definitely, for sure, if you're watching live, go ahead and drop your comments in the chat section. And if you're on the replay, go ahead and drop your comments down below in the comment section. So without further ado, I guess, let's get right into these crazy stories. So let's have Bossy B actually bring us in today. I hope everyone has been wonderful. These stories are going to be a little dark, a little morbid, but not too much, not too bad. And when we're talking about someone going to the other side, you would think people would be a little bit more curious or courteous, not curious, courteous. So let's start off with our first story in Am I the a-hole for no longer wanting to give my house to my sister? Oh, wait, is this the right one? Sorry, y'all. Nope, that's not the right one. This is the right one. Never mind. Let's start over. Let's start over. So, am I the a-hole for refusing to pay for my mom's funeral? That in itself sounds wild, but y'all are going to see why this lady actually feels like that. So, I, 41 female, have 3 brothers, A, 44 male, B, 42 male, and C, 38 male. I am the most financially successful of my siblings, both because of my own accomplishments. I started my own successful company, but also because the man I married comes from a wealthy family. My brothers treated me like an ATM for years until I finally put a stop to it and closed the bank of OP. At the time, there was a lot of pushback from them and from my parents, but I didn't give in. So sounds like sister is the moneymaker and everyone's just taking advantage of her because she is the money maker. So my father unalived 4 years ago. My father died. Can I say died on YouTube? I think I can say died on YouTube. Okay, let's try it. My father died 4 years ago. He didn't have much insurance, and I ended up paying for his funeral. I did this for my mom so she wouldn't have to worry about it. My mother got sick late last year and had been declining ever since. It got to a point where she needed constant assistance. While I could and did hire nursing help, mom wanted one of us there for with her. Mom wanted one of us there. What is this? Can you read, Bree? Can you read? No. Mom wanted one of us there with her almost constantly for the last 6 weeks. My 2 of my brothers, B and C, almost never came to stay with mom for the most part. It was just me and A taking turns being with her. I was spending every other night at mom's apartment and often more. My mom died 2 weeks ago. My brother A was her power of attorney and had her will. She wanted everything to be divided equally among the 3 boys. She, OP, was completely excluded. It's insane, right? And she's asking if she's the a-hole for not wanting to pay for mom's funeral. But mom didn't even give her a trinket from her inheritance, okay? So I was excluded completely. I was extremely hurt. It felt like a slap in the face. It's not the money, mom didn't leave much. It was the lack of regard. It felt like I didn't even matter, it felt like I didn't even matter, even though I was there for her when she needed me, unlike 2 of her sons. I know she knew I didn't need the money before anyone says anything. I completely understand that it was mom's money and her decision on what to do with it after she died. That doesn't mean it doesn't hurt. I definitely understand where OP is coming from someone who has a lot of accomplishments in their lives. And my actual parents have told me specifically that my siblings are going to get more than me. They didn't say they're not going to get me anything at all, but at least they gave me a warning. OP had no warning while she was spending money on taking care of mom with nurses and also spending her time and her effort in taking care of her. So I definitely feel for OP, but dang, they could have gave her a warning or something. Make sure y'all are voting if you're watching on the live. The four of us got together about a week after the funeral at mom's apartment as we were cleaning it out. A hands me the bill for the funeral, just out of the blue, hands you the bill. Okay. I looked at it and asked him how he wanted me to send him my share, as she should, her share. A told me that he and the other two assumed I would pay for it like I did for dad. I told him that I did that to help mom. BNC piped in that they don't have money to pay for it. I told them that was bull since they were going to be receiving money from mom. They said that wasn't fair. I told them they were right. Since they were the ones that got the money, they could pay for the entire funeral. And I mean, like, pay your sister back. She paid for dad's entire funeral. Why can't y'all pay for mom's entire funeral? And it's split 3 ways. Like, come on, y'all got to do better. Y'all got to do better. So, we argued and I ended up walking out. They came to my home 2 days later to demand I pay, and I kicked them out of my home. I admit I told them to pay it themselves out of hurt and anger, but even after I calmed down, I think I'm right. The funeral is mom's final expense and the cost should come out of her estate. My brothers are saying that I am being petty. Even my husband says to just pay it and avoid the uproar. I don't want to. I feel OP. I don't want to. Why? I don't want to. Why do I have to do it? Why can't my grown brothers grow up and do what they need to do in order to, remember our mom? I did the whole thing for my dad. Why can't they pitch in? Why can they not help? So am I the a-hole for not wanting to pay for the funeral, even though I could easily afford it? So y'all let me know what y'all thoughts are. The votes are already coming in. I'm going to go ahead and jump into the Reddit comments, and then I'll go ahead and jump onto the Beehive comments to see what your thoughts are on the Reddit story. Me, so far, I don't think that OP is the a-hole, but do not let me sway your opinion of what's going on here. And there is an update, but let's read some comments first. So we got the first comment coming in saying not the a-hole. It should come out of her estate. People are agreeing with that. Someone else says not the a-hole. That is how my stuff is written. Not the a-hole. That is how my stuff is written at the moment. Funeral and like costs come out before any money can be divided. That can be a little bit complicated though, because sometimes it takes a long time to be able to get the money to pay for the funeral. Like if you got the money in the bank account, you have to bring like the death certificate, you have all this proof and all the things. It could be that they can't even divide it until after the funeral is done. Maybe they have to go through probate if they have a will. All the things, a lot of things can come into play. So it's kind of hard to say this needs to be paid before before anyone gets anything. I see the thought process behind it. So maybe somebody can come out of pocket initially and then they're reimbursed before the rest of the assets are divided. Let's see. Someone else says, my mom already paid her funeral with the money she received from my father's life insurance payout. That is smart to do. Pay it forward. And then you don't have to worry about this later on. Someone else says, not the a-hole. The funeral home knows how to file a claim with the probate court for payment of services and any other creditors seeking payment. That's why creditors scour legal notices after someone dies to make demands for payment. If your mother's estate becomes insolvent after the creditors are paid, oh well, I guess your brothers won't get any inheritance. The commenters are not on the brother's side. You shouldn't shoulder the burden of paying for your mother's funeral. Her funeral, if she has funds available. Your brother needs to stop being greedy. I agree with that comment. You shouldn't have to pay for it if your brothers are getting money. Stop being greedy. Y'all let me know what y'all think in the comment section. And let me go ahead let me see what the comment says first, and then we'll get into the update. So let's say hello to the people that are watching live. We got Blessed Mummy of 4. Hello and welcome in, saying good evening all. Hello and welcome back to the live stream. We got Kimmy Locker, our member, moderator, consultant, paralegal of the channel. Welcome back, saying hello, Blessed Mommy of 4, and Bree Hive. Hello and welcome back in, and thank you for the help in the back end. Blessed Mommy of 4 saying hi to Kimmy. Then we got Doodle Noise, member of the channel. Welcome back. Nice to have you in tonight, saying not the a-hole. I agree with you, not at all. Doodle Noise elaborating and saying, my mom does this. Only the men in the fam matter. Despite what I do and give, I struggle to contribute to her care that my brother decides. I struggle to contribute to her care that my brother decides. I have no say, but sorry, I just moved. But just get notice of what I'm supposed to pay. Yeah. And that's not fair, right? If you're going to be included and involved and help taking care of people, you should definitely be included and involved in making decisions. I get that you could probably only have one power of attorney. You probably have more than one power of attorney. But like, come on, you have to appreciate the work that I'm doing. And that really sucks. And I hear that comment so much. It really should not be a comment of why are the men mattering? Not that men don't matter, but why do the men matter more than the women, i.e. your sons over your daughters? I don't understand it, but I also don't have kids. So maybe I'll understand once I have kids, but I just can't seem to fathom that. Kimmy Locker is saying, not the a-hole, like OP said, the estate should pay final expenses. Definitely agree with that. We got Kimmy Locker also saying, I'm sorry to hear that to Doodle Noise at the risk of being Captain Obvious. That sounds so sucky and frustrating. Yeah, that is true. And yeah, I am sorry that happens to you too, Doodle Noise. And I just don't understand it. Hi, Ruby Rudy. Hello and welcome in. Nice to have you here. Make sure y'all are voting in the chat box. I think we're all pretty much on the same page at this point, but I'm going to go ahead and read the update that has happened in the case. So my brothers came to my house last night to talk. They said they had gotten together to talk and realized they were wrong. That was so nice to hear. So the brothers finally got their head out of their back ends and realized that they were being little douchebags. Can I say douchebags? Well, I already said it. Okay, here we are. They apologized to me for assuming that I was paying for the funeral and even offered to split their inheritance with me. I can't tell you how much that meant to me. Shout out to the brothers for growing up for once. Okay? Growing up for once in their lives. They said they will just pay for it. Don't worry about it, sis. And we'll split the inheritance with you. I would have took it. To see if they were really being sincere, to tell y'all the truth. Because some people will be like, oh, let's offer this to her. She's going to say no. Let's just offer it to her. She should say, okay, yeah, sure. Let's split it 4 ways instead and see what would have happened. But no, let's give them the benefit of the doubt. They are being nice now. Let them be nice, I guess. I can't tell you how much that meant to me. I told them no on splitting. That isn't what mom wanted. I told them I would pay a quarter of the funeral bill, even though they said I didn't need to. She should have let them pay for it. I would have let them pay for it. I understand that they're apologizing now, but how do we know it's sincere? Am I the problem? I might be the problem. I'm happy that the brothers actually apologized and offered to split the inheritance and offered to pay for the funeral. I would have let them do it. I don't think that OP is the a-hole in this situation, but let's see what the chat ended up voting in the poll. We got, am I the a-hole for refusing to pay for mom's funeral? One of the answers was yes, OP is the a-hole. The other answer is no, someone else is the a-hole. And then there is no one is the a-hole. And yes, everyone sucks here. Okay? No, the actual winner of the poll was no, someone else is the a-hole. And I'm going to assume we're talking about the brothers are the a-hole. I went ahead and ended that poll, y'all. If y'all haven't already, please do hit the like button. It does help us out on the channel. And I know I'm not able to stream as often as I normally stream. I'm hoping to get into a good schedule, y'all. My commute is out of control. I was in a 3-hour meeting, but I'm here and I'm showing up so that we can talk about these crazy Reddit stories. So if y'all haven't already, please do hit the like button. It does help out the channel. Now, let's go ahead and I appreciate it. Let me say that. I appreciate it very much that y'all are taking y'all time to hang out with me. And I know I'm streaming late tonight, but y'all are dedicated and I appreciate it. There is one more comment that I'm going to cover. Blessed Mommy of 4 says, I agree that she should have let them pay for it. I would have. I felt like that would have made their relationship so much better, because now they would have knew that they could not walk all over her as well. So anyways, let's go ahead and jump into the next story that we have for today. Did I already switch over the stories? Maybe. I'm all out of order, y'all. I am all out of order. So let me go ahead and into the next story that we have here. Am I the a-hole for no longer wanting to give a house to my sister, my portion of the inheritance? So am I the a-hole for not giving my sister my inheritance is essentially what that title is telling us what's going on right here. So y'all let me know. Kimmy's going to put a poll up in the chat. So let me know if this OP is the a-hole. And for sure, if you're watching live, drop in your chat your thoughts. And if you're watching on the replay, go ahead and drop in the comment section your thoughts on this story. So am I the a-hole for no longer wanting to give a house to my sister, my portion of the inheritance? A few years ago, my mom passed away unexpectedly and she didn't have a will. So splitting the assets has been more of a headache than any of us anticipated. Most of us, multiple siblings involved, are of the mind that we need to prioritize relationships with each other because we understand long-term damage that feuding over material things upon someone's death can bring to families. Like I talked about before the live stream, some people just do not know how to act when it comes to someone passing on and people feeling like they are going to win the lottery with whatever things that person had, or money or whatever it may be. So our mom loved her house and spent her time turning it into a dream home before her death. Some didn't want it sold off. Okay. Some didn't want it sold off. It was then proposed that one of our sisters who has young children be given the house because she was looking to looking at travel trailers for housing, and it would be a long-term affordable and stable home. At this time, sale of the house. I don't know why they're writing like that. I don't know why they're writing. It's like they're trying to talk in like very short sentences and it doesn't make sense to me. I'm sorry. Okay. At this time, sale of the house to her and her husband wasn't an option because they couldn't get approved for a loan. They were told that they needed to prepare themselves to get a loan for the house in case the loan wasn't assumable. And unfortunately, they didn't do that. So to this day, they still wouldn't qualify to buy it. We agreed on a nice idea to each give the gift of our own inheritance with an unspoken understanding that they'd plan to stay in the home long term. While we figured out the legal stuff, they moved in and paid the mortgage until things are made official. Unfortunately, shortly after moving in, our sister's husband would tell friends and his family that his plan is to sell the house within 2 years or rent it out and move. So these siblings are giving their mother's house that she put her hard-earned money into, her effort into, her sister and the husband. And the husband's like, yeah, we're going to sell this thing or we're going to rent it out and we're going to be rich. These people are giving up their inheritance for their sister and her new husband, who is acting like this is just his new get rich quick scheme when he can't even afford to get a mortgage on his own. And he was looking at living in trailers and mobile homes. So does he think that he's going to rent this out and be able to afford a bigger, fancier, better house? Like, sir, when you rent out a house, I'm sorry, I'm already going into it, but that kind of made me mad. When you rent out a house, you have to pay the mortgage of the house that the people are living in. It's not going to pay off your mortgage for your new fancy house that it sounds like you're trying to get. Anyways, let's go on. This understandably caused upset because it felt like he was looking for an opportunity to profit, not long-term stability. We proposed a stipulation stating that they'd have to reside in the home for 5 years before it would be transferred solely to them as proof that they are serious about making it into their home. But her husband got really upset and wouldn't hear us out. 5 years is not even a long term. I wouldn't give up my inheritance for 5 years. You have to promise to live there forever till your kids graduate high school. 5 years is not a long time. So let's keep going. We asked our sister what their plan was. Oh, sorry. I just want to make sure. Okay. I wanted to make sure I was on the right paragraph. We asked our sister what her plan was, and she said it depended on her husband's work situation. That moving wasn't off the table or fully on it, but she felt 2 years was long enough to consider it long term. With all of this coming to light, a few of the siblings no longer wanted to sign because they didn't feel it would be fair to end up with none of the equity on a short-term living situation. Yeah, let them live there, and then when they move out in 2 years, y'all get y'all portion of the inheritance and they got to get out. Figure out how to buy your mobile home. Am I being mean? I might be mean. I may be being mean. Keep going on. It no longer feels wise to hand over my portion heedlessly, but because of the money, the morality, and the ethics of it all, with the new information about their plans to possibly sell the property after only a short time, the sense of entitlement and the lack of acknowledgement for how big of a gift this really is. Am I the a-hole for no longer wanting to give away my portion of the inheritance? Y'all let me know what y'all think. We're going to read the comments. I don't think that OP is the a-hole, and I don't want to skew your opinion. So make sure y'all are dropping in the chat what your thoughts are and voting in the poll if you're watching on the live, and let me know whether you think that OP is the a-hole for not wanting to give away, essentially give her inheritance away to her sister. Y'all let me know. So the comments are saying, not the a-hole. If sis can't buy it, then she doesn't get to if sis can't buy it, then she doesn't get the profits from selling it. Exactly. Let them stay in the house for 2 years. Let them pay the mortgage, sell it, and y'all all split the proceeds. She got to pay rent somehow. If she want to buy a mobile home, she can just go buy the mobile home if she doesn't want to pay the mortgage for the house, and then they can sell it now and get the money now. Okay. They keep on saying, or they keep going in the same comment saying, I get not wanting to sell it, keep it in your family, but why give it to just one sibling? They're already thinking about the money in their pockets after selling their gift. Nuh-uh. And exactly, they can all just keep it and let her live there and let her pay the mortgage and maybe charge her rent that's a little bit over the mortgage so that they're actually profiting from the house. I don't know. They don't seem like they got it all together here. So someone else says we wanted them, or OP says we wanted them to own the house, grow as a family, and we didn't feel it would be right to have any sense of entitlement to the equity if they were there long term, since they were paying and caring for it. It was the plans of selling quickly and profiting off of our generosity that put a sour taste on our tongues. Most of my siblings are extremely giving, humble people without a greedy bone in their body. At the time, it felt right to send them off into life with a leg up, and we could sleep well knowing our nieces were in a beautiful home. That is very commendable, but they are not on the same page. They are trying to take a big advantage of this opportunity and not trying to be thankful for it. So I say move along, sell the house, or keep the house and let someone else rent it out from the rest of y'all. I don't know. Or y'all rent it out as a short-term rental, but don't give it to them. They're going to sell it. They just told you they're going to sell it. It may have felt, someone else says, it may have felt right at the time, but they have shown their true colors. Sell the house and take your rightful inheritance. As someone else comments, I agree. Sell the house and sister and a whole brother-in-law will get their portion to do what they will. They're not aligned with OP's value. Exactly. Because if they sell the house, I know they want to keep it in the family, but clearly no one wants to live there. Clearly no one wants to keep it for a long term. I think they should sell the house, get their profits, and then her sister can buy their mobile home. That's what she was looking at. She was looking at mobile home. So let her go and buy her mobile home. And I understand wanting to take care of your nieces, but depending on how much equity is in the house, she could get a really nice mobile home. Some of those mobile homes be like 3-bedroom. I'm like, how did y'all do that? They got a bedroom up here, down here. It's crazy. Mobile homes are crazy. Let them do what they do. They had a plan. Y'all tried to intercept that plan by giving them a home, and they said, no, we're going to take it and then we're going to sell it and we're going to profit. If the brother-in-law would have kept his big mouth shut, he would have got away with it if it wasn't for his running mouth, okay? His meddling mouth. I watched a lot of Scooby-Doo, y'all. Watched a lot of Scooby-Doo. Let's go ahead and see what the Beehive has to say about this. We got Rudy says, things like this make me glad I'm an only child. Makes it real easy for you. You know exactly how to divide it, okay? We better hope that your mom doesn't have a favorite pet. There's some people people that will give their entire life savings to their pet and put their pet up in a nice little puppy hotel and let them take care of them. So hopefully you're the only child and the only living being as well. Then that way you know exactly how it's going to be split. But I've seen some crazy stuff. If you got a dog or if your parents got dogs that they love, you better watch out for them. Janine says, I hope I'm saying that right, says, no way is OP an a-hole. The morality and ethics of it, in my opinion, are clearly she doesn't just own the morality and ethics of it in my opinion, are clearly she doesn't just own the place. They can choose to let them stay, but when they leave, they split the money. I agree. I think that would be the perfect plan. They can stay for now until they figure out what they want to do. And then when they move out, they will either sell it or they can rent it out as family and keep it in the family. But when it sells, don't give the money just to your sister and her husband, because it sounds like they got plans that y'all don't have. They got their own plans. Okay. Janine says, I want to know if they are paying the mortgage. If not, then I think them living there for free is her inheritance. Yeah, well, they said that she would pay the mortgage. They did say that they will continue to pay the mortgage as they live there, which I think is smart. And the mortgage is probably cheap. If the mom spent her whole life trying to get it to where she wanted to be, I wouldn't be surprised if the mortgage is really cheap. So that's probably a good idea for them. And she would still get equity in the house when they sell it. So yeah, she should be the one still paying the mortgage if she's the one living there and benefiting from being in the house. Kimmy Locker says, yeah, I feel like it's obvious that OP isn't the a-hole. The sister can either enjoy living in a house she couldn't get a loan to buy or enjoy her fair share of the sale. Exactly. She wins either way it goes, but there's no point of just giving the house to her. Like, maybe if it was like guaranteed that she would stay there and she signed a contract and she would never move until her kids, grow up and get out of the house, she clearly has plans to move. Really nice RV. I don't know when I'm going to come back to life. Okay, I'm back to life. I don't know how much y'all missed, but we're back to life. And now I'm still kind of buffering. So I'm going to let my internet catch up to what I got going on here. Thanks for y'all patience. Let's go ahead and jump into the comment section to see I just did the comment section to see the opinions. Oh my gosh, not my internet going out. Not my internet going out. Are you serious right now? I'm trying to let the internet catch up to what I got going on. This is what happens when you live stream. And y'all let me know if it's going slow for y'all or if I'm just seeing it be slow on my end. I could just be looking crazy right now if it's not being slow on y'all end. Kimmy says, I'm confused what the mortgage situation is since the original loan wasn't assumable and her sister didn't and couldn't get a loan of her own. So it says that they should get a loan just in case the original loan is not assumable. So they don't know if it's assumable yet because they haven't they couldn't qualify for the loan initially for themselves. And they said they should try to get a loan just in case the current loan is not assumable, but they didn't do it. So that option is basically off the table. I hope that makes sense. Okay. So let's see. We got couple votes in the chat saying, am I the a-hole for no longer wanting to give a whole house, okay, to my sister? Options are, yes, OP is the a-hole. No, someone else is the a-hole. No, nobody is the a-hole. And yes, everyone sucks here. And we got the clear winner of no, someone else is the a-hole in the situation. And that's at 83%. And we got 17% saying no, nobody is an a-hole. I would really like to know your thoughts on it. Whoever voted no, we got to know your thoughts of why not. Why are they not the a, or why is no one the a-hole? I think the brother-in-law is the a-hole. Why are you trying to sell these people's mother's house? Like, that is insane to me. Like, you are an extra, okay? I know you became part of the family, but you're technically an extra still. Okay. So let's see. We got another story. Okay, you know I'm a rapper. I am a rapper out here in these streets. So let's go ahead and jump into the next story we have here. So Am I the a-hole for skipping my sister's funeral? Okay, we got another sister. Another sister. We've been having a lot of sister stories. The first one was OP was the sister. Second story was OP, I think was also a sister, but the sister was acting up. And now we got a sister skipping her sister's funeral. So y'all let me know. We're going to have the poll in the chat. And also drop your comments if you're watching, or your chats if you're watching live, and your comments if you're watching on the replay. And if you haven't, again, please do hit the like button. It does help out the channel. So let's check it out. Am I the a-hole for skipping my sister's funeral? So I, 26 female, skipped my sister's 29 females funeral. Let me fix my life here. Sorry, y'all. I got a little issue going on here. Let's close this. Let's close this. Let's close this. Let's move. I'm trying to fix my screen. Sorry. Live streaming. Y'all know how that goes. I look crazy. Okay. Let's do it again. Am I the a-hole for skipping my sister's funeral? Hi, 26 female, skipped my sister 29 female funeral. Her appendix burst 2 weeks ago, something unexpected, and a death that would have been tragic had it been to someone else. I'm not trying to laugh, y'all. Death is a very serious thing, but girl, you are starting off very fiery, very aggressive, very not demure, okay? However, I was not interested in hearing another kind word said about her, and I've done plenty of listening to people sing her praise in her lifetime. Growing up, my mother pit the two of us against each other most of the time. We grew up dancers, and oftentimes my mom compared our appearances and our talent while also framing us as academic rivals. I was never the favorite, with my sister receiving most of the attention from our mother. But how are they going to be academic rivals and they're 3 years apart? Like, clearly one should be smarter than the other if we're talking about a normal course of action. Like, how could you pit them against each other, dance-wise, talent-wise, all of that? Until they're like 16 and 19, they probably couldn't even be at the same skill level until they reach those ages. So that's really weird to do. It's really weird to do even if they were closer in age, but with that age gap, that seems really, really strange to me. Okay. To put it all into frame, growing up, my mother would spend an exorbitant amount. To put it into frame, growing up, my mother would spend exorbitant amount on my sister's birthday parties. We're talking thousands. For me, I'd get a sleepover in the basement. My mother never gave me an opportunity to believe for a second that I wasn't the least favorite child. I knew the funeral would have been the same operation. My mother spent so much money on my sister's funeral that she is now requiring me to pay rent in our house. If it had been my death, she would have skimped on every cost. Well, you don't know because you didn't die. So, and that's not fair to say. But also, if she's been treating her like crap their entire lives, and maybe she would kind of screw her over. I don't know. My sister and I were never close, as my mother drove a thick wedge between us. I didn't feel as though I owed her any attention in death, as she took all of my attention in life. This person sounds scorned. Man, was dance battling that serious? She and I would go out to lunch once a month together, but the conversation was always stale, and I felt consumed by envy whenever we spoke. I feel less like mourning her death and instead like celebrating the newfound freedom I'll have without her in my life. OP. It sounds like you're already having a celebration in this post, okay? My dad is now threatening to kick me out of the home because I didn't appear at my sister's funeral, which was Sunday, 7/28. This one is from last year, so we're almost a year from the day. He says that it was selfish, and that in the moment our rivalry shouldn't have mattered. I disagree and think that I was valid in protecting my peace and avoiding the pity party over my sister. Am I the a-hole? Like, I get protecting your peace. But this Reddit post is very aggressive. I'm gonna have to say it's very aggressive. Like, where's the empathy? I definitely understand, like, you're not happy with your sister, but this is a bit aggressive. A bit aggressive. Okay. And we got some comments. We got some comments from Reddit. Make sure y'all are letting me know what y'all think about this story. And if you're watching on the live, make sure you are voting in the poll. We got first comment saying, "You're the a-hole." Okay, we see where that's going. You're the a-hole and frankly far too old to be so immature to still be holding grudges over sibling rivalry spurned from your parents allegedly. Why aren't you ashamed of yourself? Appears your sister did nothing to you but exist in the world. You're 26 years old, living with your parents. They should be charging you rent. Grow up and move out, and then you'll get over your sad little pity. I see OP came with fire, but that first comment came with more fires. They came with flames, okay? That's so mean. Now you need to move out and get out your own pity party. Someone else commented and said, holy, and to say it's not a tragedy, absolutely for shame. She didn't do anything, or even if she did as a kid, that was from the mom, not her. You have a lot of cruelty. Another one saying you're the a-hole to yourself, to your parents, and despite your sister not knowing, to your sister and those who loved her outside your family. And then to have the audacity to complain that you pay rent at 26 years old to live in your parents' home, and to compare that to what they spent on your sister's funeral. What does you paying rent have to do with what they spent on a funeral? Would you have preferred they not have a funeral, not take care of your sister's body, not mourn her passing? The way you speak about your sister is vile. That is the word. I'm telling you, OP came with smoke. It was vile. Okay, but these people are reading her in the comments. Yeah, they need to evict you. Good luck finding a place with an eviction on your record and with rents about 5 times what they were a few years ago. Yeah. We can see the comments. Reddit comments are not on OP's side. Like, we're 4 comments in and they are blazing my girl. Like, she cannot come out of this. She cannot come out of this. So let's see what the Beehive has to say about this one. I have a feeling y'all gonna be on the same side as Reddit. She obliterated, like she was going in on her. Kimmy Locker says, IDK if OP is the a-hole for skipping the funeral yet, but she's the a-hole for how she worded the post, or at least the beginning of it. Yes. I agree with you. She could have skipped the funeral. I get protecting your peace, go off, sis. But the way you're talking about this lady that is no longer alive is out of control. And it does sound like maybe it was envy. She said she would go to lunch with this girl and be filled with envy. Like, you're still jealous of her at 29 years old. Like, that's something you need to go to therapy about and figure it out, because I kind of feel like maybe the mom wasn't pitting them against each other, but maybe she was comparing herself to the sister. I don't know. Y'all let me know what y'all think. The Sock Snatcher says, I love Am I the A-hole? This is so fun. Well, thank you and welcome in. We got Janine saying, dang, yeah, she went crazy off on this sister that is no longer even here with us. Like, the least you can do, like, even if you wrote the post, the way you're talking about, you would rather, what did she say? Have a party and celebrate that she's gone. Like, that's insane. Even if that's how you feel, have your party in silence in your bedroom, right? That's crazy. Janine says, did she say how old she is? The OP is 26 and the sister was 29. The Sock Snatcher says, girl, you can stick it out for one more day. LOL. Exactly. You got one more day. And then there's nothing. You won't have to see her again. Now, I know that sounds insensitive, but you would not have to see her again. Maybe in pictures, but you don't have to. Well, she might still be compared in her head. Her parents in her head is like, well, if she was still alive, we wouldn't have to have Christmas dinner with this daughter. I don't know what. I kind of feel like she kind of self-sabotages herself, and she kind of created this narrative herself. Maybe her parents did pit them against each other, but for me, the way this is written, I think she did it to herself. She made up this idea of her sister. Kimmy Locker says to Janine, OP is 26, sister is 29. Yep. And then Janine says, dang, and she's griping about rent at 26, mind you. So she's been living rent free for 26 years. And now that they're asking her to grow up and become an adult, and now you're the one they have to rely on, and they have to teach you some type of responsibility, because clearly you have taken none in the last 26 years, going to dinner and envying your sister. They're asking her to pay rent. Get some responsibility. They're not going to be here forever. Maybe they're feeling like we have to teach her responsibility because we're not going to be here forever. We saw this daughter just disappear And now she won't be here to take care of her. So we need to teach her some survival skills. Okay. Janine says, if mom was then, she totally fell into the trap and let mom win. Exactly. If mom was the problem, she's letting it carry over into her adult life. And she gotta figure that out. Janine says that's not her sister's fault. I agree. Rudy says, I am not going to judge someone based on whether or not you went to a funeral, but speak ill of the dead is not cool. They are not here to defend themselves. OP is in bad need of therapy. That's what I said. This needs to go to therapy because you got a lot going on in your brain that you need to dissect and get through, and you need somebody to help you through it. And like I said, I don't think she's the a-hole for not going to the funeral. I think protecting her peace should be top priority. But to get on here and say the crazy stuff she said, I don't want to hear nobody say anything kind about this woman. Oh, I get it. Don't go to the funeral, but don't come on Reddit trashing this lady and she can't even defend herself. Okay. Janine says, I agree. Just skipping the funeral could have been valid. Her reasons, no. Yeah. Like I said, speaking ill of her after she's already passed on. That is the problem here. Not the fact, to me, it's not the problem that she didn't go to the funeral. Yeah, it probably hurt her parents' feelings, but like her whole life, 26, don't want to be charged rent, don't want to be responsible for anything, don't want to take accountability that maybe her sister was a better dancer than her, and so her mom maybe spent more money because she actually wanted to do it. I don't know. There could be a lot of things, a lot of reasons why this family ended up the way they ended up, but the way that she has this ill speak of her sister, it's bad. And you can tell, in my opinion, I feel like I could tell that the sister wanted a relationship with her, hence why she kept inviting her to lunch every month. So if the sister really hated her, they probably wouldn't be going to lunch, because I don't think OP would have been planning lunch with her sister that she hates. Okay. So let's see what the votes came out in the chat. We got Am I the a-hole for skipping my sister's funeral? The answers is yes, yes, OP is the a-hole. No, someone else is the a-hole. No, no one is the a-hole. And yes, everyone sucks here. We got 67% saying, yep, OP is the a-hole. So that is the winner. And then we had a 17% for each of no one's the a-hole. And yes, everyone sucks here. If the parents are the ones that pit the sisters against each other, then yes, everyone sucks as far as the funeral goes, okay? But I don't think OP was wrong for not going to the funeral if that was going to make her be at peace. Like, if she was going to hear kind things about her sister and was going to go and flip over the casket, then I want OP to stay home at that point, okay? Yeah, that was out of control. That was a spicy one. Very spicy. Okay. The Sock Snatcher says, I know people like this who think everything good in their life. I know people like this who think everything good in your life, you're due at them. Yeah. Like, you are causing them not to be as good because your life is so good. I have a feeling that the mom didn't even pit them against each other, and it's a personal issue. That's where I'm at on that one. So thank y'all for commenting. Let's jump into the next story for the live stream. This one is for 4 months ago, from 4 months ago. Am I the a-hole for refusing to sell my inheritance? What is up with people? And what is up with people and wanting to take other people's inheritance? Okay. What's going on? Why can we not get it together after people pass on? So let's jump into it. If you're on the live, make sure you're dropping in the chat what you think. If you're on the replay, drop in the comments. You know the deal. So, am I the a-hole for refusing to sell my inheritance? My husband, 31 male, and I, 33 female, randomly got to talking about our future living situation. We currently own our home in a small rural town. Keep in mind, my parents are alive and well, hopefully for a very long time, and this is all future talk. So they're not killing off the parents, okay? They're just talking about what their life can be in the future. I grew up on a hobby farm located on a couple hundred acres, the majority which pays for itself as the government pays us to keep it undeveloped. When my parents pass, they have said Sorry. When my parents pass, they have said that the land will be divided between myself and my two siblings. The issue comes when I mention that it's nice to have the flexibility of having paid off land if we want to build there someday or leave it and let our family hunt it, etc. My husband immediately got defensive and said he would never live in my hometown. I reassured him he never would have to. We just leave our piece to our kids. It's no big deal. So husband is already like, I'm not living at that place. Y'all heard what happened with the other husband. Y'all heard what happened with the other husband. So husband doesn't want to live on the land. He says he started getting a bit heated and repeating that we never lived there, so we'd sell it. Excuse me? Excuse me, you're going to sell my land? Okay. I immediately said that would never happen. He kept at it, saying it was stupid to keep land that we weren't living on and that could be used to pay for land in a place we'd want to build. I reiterated it pays for itself. It's zero burden on our finances to keep, and I never sell an acre because I grew up there and it holds sentimental value. It got heated and he implied it was a joint decision. Excuse me? To which I reminded him that inheritance is not a marital asset. She is right. It's not a marital asset. Keep it separate, girl. Keep it separate because he's tripping. All right. It is mine alone and would then go to our children. I have grandparents that own miles around the land that potentially could be included. So selling any of it makes zero sense when it could be a great asset later used by our children, nieces, and nephews. And it's paying for itself. They're paying you to keep the land that you already own. Why would you sell it? Don't let him make no financial decisions. Don't let him make no decisions, okay? Let's see. Needless to say, he's irritated with me and we aren't speaking currently. Let him go off and crawl in a hole. That's mean. Don't say that. Personally, the decision isn't up for discussion. It's my choice. If it were just inheriting money, of course, I'd use it for the family and we decide more so as a team. But am I the a-hole for not entertaining the idea? And there's some edits. So y'all let me know what y'all think. She edits to say, thank you all for the reassurance. It was never up for discussion on my end. I'd never sell any land. I am incredibly headstrong and stubborn, so my mind won't be changing. My children are always my top priority and his as well. I think he's thinking we'll leave whatever land we buy with the money to them and it would be the same, but it's not to me. This is land I grew up on, trees I climbed, places where I buried pets. It's not going outside the family. This was very out of character for him, so I say something else is maybe the root cause. Either way, I'm expecting a massive apology and explanation. In the meantime, I'll sit back and confidently knowing I'm right. Yeah. So is OP the a-hole? Husband wants her to sell her inheritance. Let's see what the Reddit comments has to say about this. So, not the a-hole. As you said, inheritance isn't marital property. I wouldn't sell either. I'm with them. Someone else says, land is the one thing that they aren't making anymore. Wisest thing anyone has ever said to me, don't sell. Yeah. Land is the only thing they're not making anymore. I've never heard of that. That is smart. That is very wise. Someone else says, the land is part of her family legacy and it's not like it's a financial burden. OP's husband is being unreasonable. He don't got nothing to do with it. Like, why are you harassing this lady at this point? Okay. Someone else says, as you said, inheritance isn't marital property. Someone else says, which is probably why OP's husband is demanding that the land be sold so they can buy land somewhere else and build a house. The OP's inheritance may be protected as long as she keeps it separate, but if she uses it to fund a marital home, her husband will have a claim. Exactly. If she starts commingling things, he gets a claim in it. She might want to watch out for that man. She might really, really want to watch out for him. Let's see what the Beehive has to say about it. Make sure y'all are voting in the poll, okay? Kimmy Locker says, what is with husbands wanting to profit off their wives' inheritance today? He's definitely the a-hole, not OP. That's I'm like, what's going on with the husbands? And it's always a house. It's always the house. The husbands always want the money out the house. Why? It's not your house. It's not your house, sir. Why do you want this lady's money? Oh, you got to be careful with husbands. It's making me scared. It's making me really, really scared. Janine says, husband can piss right off. Yeah, get out of here with that. No one's listening to this, man. No one. It's her decision, like she said, and I hope she keeps it that way. The sock snatcher says, I've been reading the name and not paying attention, but I love that name, the sock snatcher. I want to know where it comes from, but I don't know if I want to know where it comes from. So I get where the husband is coming from, but it's ultimately not his choice. They might need some marriage therapy if they're not talking over something that hasn't happened yet. And it's not even his property. So what happens when you do have like joint stuff together? Are you going to be a problem then too? I hope not. Rudy says, no, sir, you do not get to tell me what to do with my property. Hubby needs to get it together and realize he does not get to control everything. And my thing is, if it's not impairing your financial, like if she was just like throwing money into it from the community and causing y'all to go bankrupt, that would be a different story. But you got to wait until her parents die, first of all. And then at that point, you got to hope you not dead. You know, just because parents don't just die before you just because they're older than you. So you got to hope that you're not dead yourself, okay? And then you got to hope that, you got to hope that she's not dead and this just doesn't go straight to your kids. Like, this man has no clue how these things work, okay? But at no point would it ever go to him. No point would it ever go to him unless she sells it and starts spending the money. Like she said, if it was cash, then yeah, we might commingle and we might buy things and I'll spend it on the family. But if it's not cash and it's land, I'm going to leave it as it is, as she should. I think she should leave it as it is. The sock snatcher says, I just like socks, especially the fun ones. Okay. I'm thinking like maybe you got a dog that comes by and take your socks off. Or maybe you sneak into people's houses and steal their socks. I don't know. There's some weird things. But I love the name. It's a cute name. Kimmy Walker says, to the sock snatchers, I get where the husband is coming from, logically speaking, but it's not a solely logical decision. It's not his decision to make, and he's not communicating logically or respectfully. Yeah, he's like, I would never live there. Nobody asked you to live there. Like, no one asked you to live there at all. No one. Acting like people are forcing this man to move to this hometown. Like, dude, get it together. But like she said, she expects a big apology and she wants him to put their kids first. The sock snatcher says, agree with Kimmy. Makes sense. Yeah, it's just not his decision. Let's see what the poll says. The poll. Every time I say the poll, I feel like I'm talking about like, adult polls and the adult clubs, if y'all know what I'm saying. So am I the a-hole for refusing to sell my inheritance? We got yes, OP is the a-hole. No, someone else is the a-hole. No, nobody is an a-hole. And yes, everyone sucks here. And 100% says no, someone else is the a-hole. The husband. I think y'all think the husband is the a-hole. Okay. I think I got one more story, but for whatever reason, oh no, though. I don't have to. Yep, we got one more story. One more story. And let's see if this one makes us mad too. Inheritance is a hard one. I picked shorter stories this time, so we kind of got through this pretty quickly. But yeah, inheritance is hard. Funerals are hard. Death is hard. But then we got people fighting over things. It's just harder. It's harder when we're fighting over things. So, am I the a-hole for not sharing my inheritance with the rest of my family? Quotation marks, family. Let's see. No, oh, sorry. Where did there's where, whatever I'm reading, I don't know where I got that from. Am I the a-hole for not sharing my inheritance with the rest of my family? It's in quotation marks. My family's situation is messy. I, 25 female, was engaged 4 years ago to my high school sweetheart. My fiance cheated on me with my sister, 28 female. How does this keep happening? I feel like there's a story like this every other month on Reddit. Why do people's sisters cheat with their sister's boyfriend in high school, especially in high school? And this sounds like the sister's like 3 years older than her. So what is she doing messing with her sister's little young boyfriend from high school? Anyways, let's go on. Or maybe they weren't in high school when they cheated. I don't know. But it was the high school sweetheart. So my fiance cheated on me with my sister, 28 female. We had never had a good relationship, even as kids. So after I found out, I went scorched earth on both of them. She was so in love with my fiance, but he dumped her within 2 weeks. Okay. I said that there are Reddit stories like this all the time, but honestly, it's like they stay together and they get married and they have kids and they have to deal with them for the rest of their life. So OP just never goes to any events. This sister got broken up with in 2 weeks. 2 weeks? She couldn't keep that man? Oh, let's go on. She was so in love with my fiance, but he dumped her within 2 weeks and was back trying to get me to forgive him. I didn't. My parents were initially on my side, but my sister had a nervous breakdown after she was dumped and was hospitalized, and they changed their tune to "it's over now and you can't be mad forever." Yes, I can. And you're going to watch me do it. Okay. So I dumped them too. Good for OP. So I dumped them too. Talk about you can't be mad forever. Watch me, peace. And went to grad school on the other side of the country. Just bye-bye, parents. My grandfather was livid with the whole thing, disowned my sister, and chewed out my parents. Sometimes it felt like he was the only one who was on my side and understood. I was able to get my job to let me work remotely and moved back to take care of him when he got sick last fall, and I was devastated when he passed a couple months ago. I had been in limited contact with my parents since I came back, mostly because I didn't want to be an obstacle to my dad seeing my grandfather, but with the understanding that any discussion of my sister or what happened would end that. So she let dad still come over to see grandpa as she was taking care of grandpa, but don't bring up that wench, okay? Don't bring her up. It turns out that my grandfather left me virtually everything. He left me enough for my father to cover a debt and some token stuff for he left enough for my father to cover a debt and some token stuff for a couple of other relatives. But he wrote letters for everyone and did a videotape with his attorney explaining what his intentions were. I knew that he had done well for himself, but he lived a pretty simple lifestyle. So I didn't realize how much money and assets he really had. I would give it all up to have my pawpaw back on. That's so sweet. But even after taxes, it is set for life money. So OP probably will never have to work. But she'll give it all up for pawpaw. That's sweet. Okay. My parents are pretty mad about it. One of the reasons stated for cutting them out was how disappointed my grandfather was with how they had treated me growing up versus my sister and over the fiance debacle. There were other reasons, but that's what they're fixated on. The will is pretty airtight, apparently. So my parents want me to do the right thing and share it equally between me, them, and my sister. F the sister and F the parents too, okay? Their argument is that I don't need it. Excuse me? How do you know what I need? How do you know what I need? Okay. The argument is that I don't need it. I make more than both of them combined, and this would allow them to retire. How is that my responsibility? You should have been saving for retirement instead of coddling my sister. Okay. Like, what does that have to do with your... Let's go on, Bree. Don't get too distracted. I make more than both of them combined, and this will allow them to retire. My sister is not doing great and can't hold a job. Not OP's problem. So this would ensure she has something for when my parents pass. I'm gonna go on. I don't want to. My grandfather's wishes were crystal clear. And also, I kind of don't feel like doing more than the minimum for any of them. They lucky you'll do the minimum for them. Like, they're pushing it, okay? They've been telling me that I'm being vindictive because of a mistake years ago. I can't deny there might be a little vindictiveness there. I don't want them to suffer necessarily, but I also don't feel like they deserve my help. Am I the a-hole? No, you're not. Your family sucks, okay? And it's very interesting how nice and how people want you to forgive them for their mistakes when money is involved. They were jealous of you then, and they're jealous of you now. Don't give them a dime. Don't give them a dime. They don't deserve it. They didn't even have your back when your sister was being a little skank. Okay? I don't know how I come up with these words on live stream. I don't know why I'm saying it on live stream. I don't even know if I'm allowed to say it on live stream. But the grandpa made his point. Why would she go against her grandpa who took care of her and took her in and, you know, had her back when no one else in the family did? Why would she turn on them and give them money? Grandpa didn't want to give you no money. I don't even think grandpa gave the sister any money. Y'all pampered the sister in childhood, so pamper her now. Figure it out. Talk about our sister needs something. Your sister needs something for when we pass. Then give her something. Give her something. What they got to do with me? My sister also needed my fiance and was so in love with him. Look at her now, okay? Look at her now. Let's see what Reddit comments have to say. And make sure y'all are voting on the poll in the chat. We got not the a-hole. I'm sorry your papa has gone. He sounds very loving and interesting by the way you speak about him. That said, set your family connections on fire and walk away. Yeah, set it ablaze, okay? Let it all flow away. Let it all flow away. It's not your problem. Give it to the Lord. Give it away, okay? That's what he would have wanted, and he granted you the means to do so. Walk tall. You've earned it. You can travel the world, okay? You can travel the world because grandpa gave you the money. Papa gave you the money to do such things. Someone else says, this is kind of how I feel about it. I feel like he left her that much so she hopefully never have a reason to reach back out to them and could just live her life, not the a-hole. She doesn't have to rely on them for anything. Good for grandpa. Someone else says exactly, not the a-hole. OP should not feel any guilt for following her grandfather's wishes. Exactly. He don't want them to have no money, sis. They can't have any money. He knew what he was doing. If anyone worries about her sister, just point out that sis can inherit everything from the parents someday since OP has rightly distanced herself and has no need for it. Exactly. Give her something. Why are you asking me to give her something? I gave her my fiance. And look what she did with that. She couldn't even keep that. She can't keep a job. What you think she gonna keep this money from grandpa for? She ain't gonna keep that either. She gonna spend that probably trying to get my ex-fiance back. So no. Now she couldn't keep the fiance. Bree. Be polite. Like, we're on live stream. We are still here. Someone else says, frankly, I'd consider it disrespectful if OP I'd consider it disrespectful of OP to ignore his wishes and give them money when he made it absolutely explicitly clear he didn't want them to have it. Exactly. I agree. Don't give them a dime. Let them wallow in their sorrows. They had years to correct this. And even if it wasn't just about the sister, y'all didn't have your daughter's back. And y'all had her back at first. And then the girl was crying because she couldn't keep the man for 2 weeks. I don't even know if she had him for 2 weeks. She might have only had him one time. Let me see what the Bree have got to say. Let me see what the Bree have. The Sock Snatcher says, Grandpa made a video will. There were reasons too. Sounds like Grandpa was crystal clear. Yep. Grandpa was crystal clear. He didn't want any mistakes. He told y'all abandoned my granddaughter. Suffer. Watch her live a fantastic life. He wants that granddaughter to live a fantastic life and for the family to watch in the back and stalk her and try to figure out what she's doing, what country she's in this week, what house she bought this week. Don't let them know where you live because then they're going to try to come after you. But anyways, he wants her to live her life and he wants those people to be jealous for the rest of their life on earth. Okay. Kimmy Locker says, OP already shared her fiance. Exactly. She already shared her man. Yes. She doesn't need to share her inheritance against the clear wishes of her grandfather. I agree with that. Ruby Rudy says Granddad's final wish was that OP have what he left for her. They only have themselves to blame for this outcome. And he did give something to his son. It's not like the son was left out. It does sound like the granddaughter was left out or the OP sister was left out, but F her. Like, are we really concerned? No, we're not. The sock snatcher says, and you can't just add someone else's to grandpa's will. Any money she gives them would be taxed as a gift. Right, exactly. Because it wouldn't be inheritance anymore. She would be gifting them something. So yeah, that is a really good point to put out there. If she gives them more than $10,000, then she's being taxed for the gift. So she can give $9,999 and avoid the gift tax. But no, don't give them anything. Don't give them anything. Wild Wind Farm says karma with a devil face. Exactly. Definitely karma out here. There's no getting around it. Ruby Rudy says to Wild Wind Farm Facts. Oh, the name is farm. Sorry. It's facts. That's what Ruby Rudy is saying. Kimmy Locker says OP shouldn't stress. Her grandfather made the decision. So as her parents said, it's over now and they can't be mad forever. Yes, throw it back at him. Absolutely. Throw it right back at him. It's over. I have no control over this money. It's just like locked in my bank account. Sorry, you cannot have it. And grandpa said no. My papa said no. Like when I told my sister, no, you can't have my man, and she took him anyway, y'all not taking this. Bye. I would peace out. But she probably also doesn't want to like not have any family left. Like she lost the grandpa that she was really close with. And I don't know how close she is with other members of her family. Ruby Rudy says, I was actually in a similar situation to this because I have two cousins, but my grandfather left me insurance money, but not them or my father. Clearly for a reason. But if he doesn't specifically exclude them, is it reasonable to still like help them out? I don't know. I think insurance might be a little bit different, but doing a video will saying y'all don't get no money or I'll give you $10,000, go away. I think that one's a little bit more directed. I don't know about insurance, but if you're the only beneficiary, you're the rightful owner. But I feel like a video will is just like, yeah, nah, you can't have this. Ruby Rudy says, I did not tell them I got it sold. Even better. Don't tell them. It's none of their business, really. It's only your business. So good for you. So they were like whining like, man, grandpa didn't leave me nothing. And he was like, yeah, me neither. Yeah, me neither. I wonder why. I'm sorry. I'm not trying to laugh, but I'm sorry for your loss with your grandpa. But I get that. You just had to listen to them say about how they didn't get nothing, and you did. That's good. Oh man. Kimmy Locker says Papa said what he said exactly. He said what he said, and he expects his granddaughter to stand on business. And I'm not letting Papa down. I'm not letting him down. Okay. That's their problem. Let them deal with it. Okay. Let them figure it out. Yeah. Ruby really says no, it's funny. LOL. Yeah. It is funny. Sorry. Dang. Yeah. He didn't leave us nothing. Man, that sucks for us. Yeah. They're like, hey, where'd you get that new car? This old thing? I've been having this, right? For the poll, we got am I the a-hole? Learn how to talk, brain. Am I the a-hole for not sharing my inheritance with the rest of my family? Answers: yes, OP is the a-hole. No, someone else is the a-hole. No, nobody is the a-hole. And yes, everyone sucks here. And the winner is 86% with no, someone else is the a-hole. The family, the whole entire family other than grandpa, okay? And then someone else or some other people voted 14%. No, nobody is an a-hole here. So it could go either ways. I don't know. I feel like the parents are kind of an a-hole for trying to get her to give away her inheritance. Like, leave me alone. You get what you get and you don't throw a fit. Leave me alone. The sock snatcher says, I could adjudicate this internet justice all day. Good. It is internet justice, right? It is internet justice for sure. Y'all, that is all I have for today's live stream. There was some other good inheritance stories and funeral stories, but we could have been here all night with the amount of stories that they had on the internet. Anyways, I'm sure we'll have this topic again. Definitely, if you see any other Reddits similar to this, let me know. I try to keep it as a theme so that we can do it all in one sit-in rather than having a bunch of random stories going on. So let me know if that is working for everyone. Thank you for joining me live. If you haven't already, please do hit the like button. It does help us out on the channel, and subscribe if you are not subscribed yet, because you made it all the way to the end. So I must be like a little bit kind of funny. Next week, I am still going to try to stream on Thursday. Like I said, last week, I may have to change my streaming days because of the schedule that I'm getting at the new job that I'm at. I may not be able to stream on Tuesdays and Thursdays, which is what I was normally doing. Anyways, I will see y'all all on the next live stream. Thank you for joining me. If there's any other theme y'all would like to hear, let us know. Comment down below, and I will see y'all all on the next live stream. Have a good weekend. Bye.